Thank you for your kind words. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having me here in wonderful Rome. It's fantastic to finally be here again. This is also the first time since I stepped away from television production for the last 1.5 years. So it's really great to have you all here. I'm going to take you on a small tour through recovery or resets or remix, and I guess you already know where I'm heading to. It's great that we have some time for each other today, and we absolutely need this time together. I also consult some high-tech startup companies, venture capitalists in Germany, and they have seen their deal flow drop enormously because they try to assess startups via screens. And this was incredibly complex, so they decided not to do it anymore because it's a logistical nightmare. And they have just postponed everything, so the money is literally waiting for startups in biotech, in fintech, insurtech also. So we're going to see, I hope also from a business perspective, the roaring 20s. And then also aimed, and I'm really glad it's programmed here today at Eurapco as well, the focus on what's happening with climate. More and more business agendas, this subject is being taken seriously, and I'm really happy to see that here as well. Okay, I know I'm the last thing standing between you and drinks outside. I am totally aware. I will try to make this as short and sweet as possible. Okay? Let me first take you through a modern way of looking at things, first on an emotional level, and then on a content level. So I guess you are a critical audience. Yes, everybody says yes, yes, yes. This is also one of the few conferences I still see people with ties. So this must be a serious conference. Then I'm going to try to shortcut your brain a little bit. Say, what? And you'll be glad that it's over. For my content, but also that you finally get to drink with your friends in the Alliance. So that's the most important thing. We're going to talk about gaming, we're going to make some connections, and I'm also going to give you a tool. Kenneth this morning nicely spoke about framing. I will give you a concrete tool. So let's dive in. Great leaders mix and match. I'm really happy to know that business leaders, let's say a CFO of a large bank, is able to build this. And that you have another one, the chief of IT, who really took his daily stand-up meetings, but then virtually from the toilet. And if you position the laptop right, it's all clear. And I think the best way, and that's a little bit of a turnaround, you need to play with the components that you have. Who of you has young kids? I'm meaning below 6, let's say that. All right, some people have young kids. Okay, so that's, I have one of 3.5. Believe me, that's a Corona challenge in itself. But this, I thought, was the absolute greatest way to deal with that. So just flip the system. Now, this is comforting to know that people in senior leadership positions, because they send these pictures, are able to think so creatively. Now, that's what I absolutely love. It's important to understand that we can all change. We have proven this. If we can have the same resolve with Corona, and if we apply the same resolve to the climate, we still have a good shot as humanity. Now, people don't really fear change, because if I promise you the latest iPhone, I don't know, iPhone 17 with a 48 megapixel camera, or a Samsung Galaxy 24 or something with a see-through-the-walls camera, you will probably be willing to swap your phone, right? Are you willing to swap your phone if I get these test devices? Oh, great, see, people are willing to change. Yet, if I then propose to you, give me your beautiful €1,300 iPhone, I will give you a phone back, and you think, oh, no. I don't know which phone he's promising. And I'm totally invested in ecosystem X or something. So it's important to see that people don't really fear change. People fear the unknown. So what we need to do, and also Kenneth and Helene and also Niels were not able, and wisely, to promise what the future will bring, nor will I. But I will give you a few glimpses on how you can guide people through that. So give these little glimpses of what you do know to limit the unknown factor. Now, times are clearly changing and we need new combinations. Question to you, what do these two things have to do with each other? This is a waste burning installation and a ski hill. You found it in Copenhagen, very good. The Danish team is here as well, extra bonus points. Because indeed, in beautiful Copenhagen, just outside of Copenhagen, is the Amager Resource Center. And there they have combined a waste burning installation with a ski hill. This is an artistic impression. And this thing is actually built. And now it's operational, because the city still needs to burn their waste there, not 100% recyclable. But you need to be creative with that. And in this case, this even surprised the local tourist office that people are actually traveling to Copenhagen to visit a waste burning installation, to do this, to literally ski down. There's also a climbing wall in there, and I'm just amazed by these things. So this is absolutely a beautiful combination, a necessity combined with, in this case, entertainment. And we will need more of these combinations as the future progresses, because we are running out of space, we are running out of time, and we are literally running out of nature. I help people to look beyond the borders of their domains and their sectors. I'm a Dutch guy living in Antwerp. I love to cross borders. Believe me, I've lived in a few countries. Coming to Belgium, whew, that was the biggest change. And I've lived in Thailand, and I've lived in Paris, believe me. But what's the difference? The difference is that I thought that Belgium was just like Holland. They speak Dutch, these beautiful people. And it's nice. But believe me, and if you know it in the system, is Belgium here? Hey, hello, fantastic, I love you. Huh? So, but believe me, they speak Dutch, but they organize their stuff totally differently. And once you see that, then you have the ability to reap the benefits. I love to write books, blah, blah, blah. Irma just showed a beautiful, but that's not it. It's about dealing with wicked problems. And this is already a very old definition. What is a wicked problem? A wicked problem is where there is no clear causality. It's a multi-causality, multiple stakeholders with conflicting agendas. Your normal management meeting. Let me put it like that. Now, one of the major items for the future is, of course, the Sustainable Development Goals. So that's a wicked problem, a collection of wicked problems. And I want to focus on one of them today. It's partnerships for the goals, because we all need to work together, you here in the Alliance, but also outside. You need to reach outside. I thought it was beautiful. Niels, as you indicated, we need to really broaden the system, and also Helene nicely said, you have so much influence also outside, how you can secure things, how you can support things. Now, I was also asked to make this interactive, so I'm going to try. I have 3 questions for you. May I ask you to make a note? This can be a physical note or a mental note. I'm fine, I'm pretty sure you can do a mental note. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. And just in your mind, note the answer. Are you ready? Yep. Very good. Go, shoot, give me the question. First question. Don't say it, just make a note in your mind. The capital of Belgium. But I want you to provide a wrong answer. And everybody, like, okay, yeah, okay. All right, wrong answer. Oh, perfectly fine, wrong answer. Second, wrong answer to the question, the number of 3D printing startups in Europe. And you're like, oh, I'm not a 3D printing expert. Wrong answer. Last question, easiest. Albert is not allowed to answer this one. The color of Ramon's mother's car. I have a mother, she's still allowed to drive. What is the color of my mother's, or Ramon's mother's car? All right, let's check this. First question, who accidentally filled in Brussels? Perfect. Antwerp? Copenhagen? No, well, the wrong answer. Amsterdam, Paris. Yeah, very good. Here you go. There they go. Oh, New York, whatever. Rome. You see? Oh, it's perfect. All wrong. Second question, who accidentally filled in 25,251? No, all fine. But who took a very low number? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? See, that's nice. I love predictable people. Sorry? Yeah. Just kidding. Okay, now this really gets interactive. Who of you, in the last question, what did you choose? Orange? White? White? Okay, wait. Let's do this in group. Who of you chose a color? Please stand up. Stand up, a color. If you chose a color. Ooh, now we really have a problem. But my hope is here. What did you choose?
Nothing.
Nothing? Beautiful?
She doesn't have a car.
She doesn't have a car. That's nice. You know, it's a creativity trick question, but I promise you, she's still alive, she has a car, she still has a driver's license.
I didn't trust me. I don't know.
You don't know? Very good. You have not enough information. All right. Sit down. I'm sorry. My bad. I overestimated you. Sorry, it's totally my fault. If, because we need to get back to the basics of statistics, huh? If on the last question you answered a color, there is a statistic probability that you are right. And I simply wanted you to be wrong. So what is a beautiful answer to this last question, which is absolutely wrong? Dog. Beautiful. Brussels. 25,251. But that's not how our brain works, huh? Our brain dives into buckets of knowledge. So in the first question, you dive in, I don't know, world cities, European cities, and you see Brussels blinking, so you take something beautiful, Rome, New York, Paris, blah, blah, blah. Second question, you think, hey, really nice, but I'm not a 3D printing startup expert. Could be thousands, so I'm going to take it safe. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, perfect. The last question, you don't have enough information. Indeed, I just don't have enough information. What is this for a question? So the only way to survive the last question is to jump to a totally different bucket. But we are not used to that, because we are used to answer questions in context. So if we are looking for new ways, new approaches, we start to look at what's normal in our sector, in our industry. What do other insurance companies do across the world, maybe, or something? But if we really want to radical change or radical new ways of working, we need to step outside of these contexts. So remember this. This is the error page. If you go to the Lego site, you get this beautiful error page. So type in lego.com/Eurapco board meeting, error, This is the thing. Beautiful. I'm introducing here a new term, idea DJ. And I want you all to become better at it. You are already all idea DJs. I'm just here to make you better at it. Let me explain what I mean. An idea DJ indeed comes from DJing, mixing and doing with records and things. But that's not just the music that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the concept of transferring ideas and mixing them together to create new approaches. Now, what is an idea DJ? It's actually someone who creates impactful and beautiful combinations which add value. And these three components I would like to highlight. Impactful, they need to be real, not just slides or marketing stuff. Beautiful, it has a certain elegance to it. I believe, Niels, you mentioned a frictionless, the frictionless way that you deal with, for customers to deal with you. Many of you still flew here, I guess. I guess most of you don't book your own flights. Your secretary does that. But maybe there is a moment in your life that you've booked a flight and that you entered all your information, and by the time you got to the credit card thing, bam, this whole website just wiped all the data out and you started again, had to try to book the family vacation. Who of you has ever experienced that? There you go, that's not really a frictionless process, huh? And you need to enter the same information multiple times. You think, no, I'm logged into my account. Why do I need to provide my phone number again? These kind of things. So that's where the beauty comes in. If you design your processes in an elegant way, so not operational excellence, but operational elegance. And that's a totally different way of looking at your processes. Then you can really create these combinations which add value, and value to a wider stakeholder system. I'm glad we're here with all mutuals, so that's already a good starting point. But we need to look at a wider system to generate and to deliver this value. So, striving for the perfect idea DJ mix. Beauty, value, and impact together. There's a beautiful example. And that's a company who decided to refuse the current reality. Because reality is, if you go philosophically, it's a made-up thing. Everybody perceives the world in their own way, so we all create our own realities. And there's a beautiful company called Tony Chocolonely. Who of you knows Tony Chocolonely? All the Dutchies do, of course. Very good, very good. That's a Dutch chocolate brand, and they are on a mission. They're on a mission to make chocolate slave-free. They're trying to get the cocoa farmers a fair pay. They call that the Tony Premium. They even break up their chocolate bars in different chunks to show that the world is unequally divided. Now, they challenge the big chocolate makers to do the same thing, to deliver fair prices to chocolate farmers. And they are really smart. So a sweet solution for a bitter truth, they say. Now, there were already brands that did that before Tony Chocolonely. So in the fair trade shops, you could find this kind of chocolate and everything. Hey, you say, what's new? Well, what's new is here. Here you see the mint chocolate and the milk chocolate. So these are, also the way it's positioned. It's not the sexiest chocolate around. But the biggest problem was, it didn't taste fantastic. So Tony Chocolonely figured out 3 key things. First of all, they made it great tasting chocolate. Secondly, they made them available not in the fair trade shops, but in the major outlets, the major retailers. And lastly, they made doing good with ease. So doing something good for the world with ease. Everybody loves to buy this chocolate. In the meantime, you pay a little bit of a premium, and you're doing good with ease. So I think Tony Chocolonely has this mix really right. Now, if we then look at insurances, you can ask yourself, there's a fun little exercise, you can do it with your own boards, or maybe with the Eurapco board, but also in your own teams. What sector are we really in? What is it that we really do? Shout, what do you really do? Tell me, what do you do? Insurance, you say. What else? Sell a promise, very good. What else do you do?
Manage some risks.
Manage risks, of course. What else?
Solve people's problems.
Nice, solve people's problems. This is becoming interesting. I also did a little exercise for you. So if we forget about insurances, and then we say Eurapco partners, maybe it's the place to go for peace of mind, or stress reduction, or good sleep. Just have your clients have a good sleep. You take care of business. And you can go all the way through fair play, mediation, wherever you want to be. And mindfulness, also security. That might also be a nice way where you are. So do this little exercise with your team, and you'll be amazed how different the views are to your business. Based on that, you position yourself in the market, and you drive your investments. You attract the right talent. This guides your whole business. But a lot of teams forget to do this, and they have these kind of conversations. Everybody is always trying to make their own point. So that's an interesting little exercise. Now, it's clear that industry's borders are blurring. One of my clients is Audi. They are trying to position themselves on the market. If I ask you, name me a safe car brand, what do you say? Which car are you really safe in if you sit in there? Volvo, very good. Their marketing works sweet. Everybody thinks safety, Volvo. Family cars, Volvo. You want to protect your family, blah, blah. Very smart positioning. So Audi thought, the safety angle is already taken by Volvo. Audi is just as safe, but Volvo came in with the side impact protection system, blah, 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 these kind of things. Beautiful. So Audi thought, okay, we're going to do it totally different. We're going to go into healthcare. And they have the Audi Fit driver features that does all kinds of tracking and everything. And here they say, we are going to slowly use digitalization to move in the healthcare space. And then things become really interesting to see. I'm not sure if they're going to make it in this space, but at least they're slowly moving into this space. So that's really interesting. Now, cross-industry innovation, that's a cool example. IDR DJs love to look outside their sectors. I brought one example. Who of you has a BMW with this knob still in there? Oh, there we go. Yeah, good. Yeah, great. Keep the car, which is great. So it's an iDrive system. And it actually comes from the gaming sector. It comes from an Xbox controller. BMW was looking for a way to steer the internal navigation and the internal computer. So beautiful example. Now, the latest BMWs don't have this knob anymore. What do the latest BMWs have? A touchscreen, of course, everything digitalized, no more moving parts, which is great. Touchscreen, digitized. But what happens if you drive behind, what is your name? Virginia. If I drive behind Virginia, and Virginia is switching audio or something, she presses a little bit and the car does like this. What do you think someone with the latest BMW does if they hit the touch screen? The car does like this, huh? So it's interesting to see that I get it from a production standpoint and a maintenance standpoint, but actually this is a superior system. So it's smart to look at that. Some while before Corona, I was invited to my friends in Houston at NASA. It was absolutely great to be there. Omar Hatamle, the Chief Innovation Officer for NASA, said, as NASA, we look outside. We try to work with as many different sectors as possible. Please come and strengthen the team there. We had a great time there. There was a whole conference built on that. And it's not about the guy here at front, but it's about this guy. There he is. That's Hondo. And who's Hondo? Hondo has the most impressive title I've ever written. Assistant Secretary of the Navy for Research, Development and Acquisition. And this whole group of people, here, all these beautiful people were people from the media, from Sony, from Ferrari. There was someone from also scientists from the IPCC. It was impressive to see a whole group of people openly sharing knowledge. I learned a lot there. It was absolutely great to be there. But I learned something impressive from Jim. Jim, in a typical American slang, said, Ramon, we at the US Navy are always tight for budget. We don't have time to innovate. We don't have time for R&D, and we don't have the budget, and our material is deteriorating. Anyone recognize the feeling? Very good. Huh? So everybody said, yeah, big problem, big problem. He says, I'm responsible for R&D, so we made it simple. R&D is for us simple. It's not research and development. It's rip off and deploy. So we steal an idea and we implement it. And we don't care where the idea comes from. Everybody laughing, fantastic definition of R&D. Great. And then he actually had a concrete example. So he sent me the slides, really nice. I'm now totally into submarines. This is a Virginia-class submarine, all right? It has a periscope, or it used to have a periscope in the old days. There's this oil-pressured tube in there. So you see them in the movies, and then they shoot torpedoes. If this thing leaks, this oil-pressured thing, everybody dies. Simple as that. So, welcome to the 21st century. The new Virginia-class submarines, they don't have these periscopes anymore. What do they have? Digital cameras, very well. They are still on a stick that can move, but there's no more direct connection with the people inside. A lot safer. Great. Then they were looking for a way to pan and zoom the cameras. In the old days, the Navy, nicely locked in their little silo, would program this software themselves. Now, with the new R&D mandate, rip off and deploy, they became a lot smarter, and they said, okay, we're going to do this differently, and here you see the sailor holding it. It's an Xbox 360 controller to navigate the cameras, and they just have a few spare. And by doing this, they came in 90% under budget. It was a $10,000 thing, and normally they had budgeted $100,000 for it. So a beautiful little example, and he had way more examples, but I just picked this one. Now you can ask yourself, hey, we can do the same thing. What would X do? A lot of startups do the same thing. We are the Uber for X, for other delivery services, or we are the Netflix for insurances or something, you name it. So that's good, taking a unknown item, combine this with a known item. People don't fear change, they just fear the unknown. So how do you make the unknown more known? By saying it's just like in the restaurant business, but then for insurances. People say. Very smart. And you can do this, and that's the interesting thing, on multiple levels. So you can do this on your core products, but also deeper on your processes and your flows, on your business models, on your leadership, on your strategy. Make this move just looking outside, say, yeah, absolutely smart. Now, to do that, curiosity is your superpower. And you need to be curious. Who of you is curious? Oh, that's good. That's good. That's promising. One trick here. Who of you sometimes has brilliant ideas? It looks like you're all Dutch. In Dutch we have a saying, niet je hoofd boven het maaiveld, chop. If you are too high above the field, it will get chopped off. It's interesting to see, because if I ask this question in China, what do you think I get? If I ask, who has brilliant ideas? Everybody, bang! They're trained like it, and their manager is in the room. So that helps. Eurapco board is here, right? Everybody has brilliant. Anyway, this is interesting to see. You need this curiosity, and you need to come up with new ideas. And sometimes you are forced as leader to come up, to give a North Star where to go to or something. And you think, yeah, where do I get another brilliant idea? You come to the Eurapco meetings or something. The key is to see that ideas don't need to be new. Ideas just need to be new to you and to your clients, to your suppliers, to your sub-area. But we have an illusion that ideas need to be new to the world. You want a new business model that no one has ever thought of. No, no, no. You just take a business model from somewhere else and you introduce that into your own context. And that makes it a lot easier. So we need to work smarter, not harder. I loved Kenneth this morning. He spoke about framing, and I thought this is a perfect cue for me, because I will make this then concrete for you. And if you think, no, 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 I'm the CEO, then you pass this information on to your innovation manager. Fine by me, I don't care. But I'm going to explain you the basics. Our friends from HSBC will talk us through the world's most local bank. What do they do in their positioning? They say, we know local markets. So here you have the same image with different meanings to it. For some, a bicycle is ecology. For some, it's equality. For some, it's independence. And HSBC says, we know all these variations. You can do the same thing here on accomplishments. For some, winning a prize is an accomplishment. For other people, going to the moon and back is an accomplishment. And if you have kids, this is quite an accomplishment. Now, let's talk about customers. Do you have customers? Or do you have clients? Who has clients? All right, a few people here, also business to business, the rest of it, yeah. Who of you has customers? All right. Let's take a look at customers. This is all kind of customers. This lady in retail, indeed, we call her a customer. She's at the cash register doing something. The person getting in the back of a cab, that is a passenger. Very good. And the girl here in front of the blackboard is a student. All right, you're really good at this stuff. Now, together with your neighbor, really fast, I want you to come up with 21 synonyms for the word customer. Go. 21 synonyms. Go, go, go. All right, stop. Who of you has 21? Yeah? Very good. How did you get to the 21? Nice. That's a nice hack, listing all the animals and humans. So you are doing all the hard work. That's why you're at this position. Thinking together, looking at each other. So one of us make notes. Let me think and nicely, blah, blah, blah. What do young people do to solve this? They Google it. So this is the official moment that you are a digital dinosaur. Because you're still here in this position doing the hard work. No, it's the 21st century. We need to do the smart work. So use your smartphone and figure it out, and then you directly have all these synonyms. So I'll help you here. Here we have a whole list. Customer, client, consumer, student, patient, shopper, buyer, purchaser, stakeholder, end user, patron, prospect, supplier, complainer, pain in the peep, king, you name it. Now, why is this relevant? Because you need to reimagine your challenges. I'm taking a generic innovation question, but you can reframe that to your own area in a moment. A generic question, how do we get more customers to visit the store? A retail question. The 3 keywords here are customers, visits, and store. If you then do this simple synonym exercise there, you get students, stakeholders, passengers, you get call at, stay at, stop at, website, pop-up, warehouse, you name it. And then you start the DJ. Then you get how we get more investors to frequent our pop-up. And you think, oh, that's a difficult question. So then you just remix again and you say, how do we get students to stay at our app? How do you get students to stay in an app? Okay, gamification, reward system, badges, close your rings on your smartwatch, whatever it is. That's how you keep students. And you think, hey, but I also keep big CEOs of insurance companies happy. We can use that. So you can use the output of this question, how to get more students to stay at an app, and transform that back to the original question. The original question being, how can we get more customers to visit our store? And you can then get stakeholders to reside in our silo, and then transform that back to your original question. Let's look at a few other areas. How do we get customers to use our services more? How do we get clients to share their roadmap? It doesn't really matter. I have brought a little tool for you, and I have a team of people now who will distribute these little beer cards. We're from Belgium. I printed this little thing on a beer coaster for you to remember and to do it for yourself. And if you think, no, I'm the CEO, then you pass this on to your innovation manager, all fine. This is a little thing. You can do this in 10 minutes for yourself or with your team, and you'll be amazed that sometimes you say, hey, that's actually a nice approach for our challenge. So these will now be distributed. Take one, pass the rest around. How do we get organizations to engage their employees? How do we get clients? I thought that was a beautiful example to join our sustainability efforts. And then you do the same thing, synonyms, you mix a little bit of ideas and you think, hey, that's interesting in this sector. Because you know it, you just never made the connection before. How do we get stakeholders to open up their APIs? That would be nice. And if you do not know what an API is, you should be fired. How do we get talent to apply at our organization? You name it. You can keep this for virtually anything. It's simple. How do we get X to Y or Z? So this is the framing technique that Kenneth explained this morning, but then concrete. And here you have the little beer coaster. Do something nice with it. Okay, you say, great, Ramon, all fine. I've been listening to you now. I want to have a drink with my friends here. All you've said is copy-paste. We look somewhere and we steal an idea and we implement. That's it. What's new? Copy-paste is not my main message. I was in Vietnam a few years ago and I made this picture. This picture. Maybe you want original Nikes or Adidas. Computers are good at copy-pasting. People are not good at copy-pasting. We have other qualities, which is great. You are inspiring leaders. By the way, Luca, I love the way you present. Here I have competition. Great. So people are good with people. Computers are good with computers. And there is also an interface, a human interface, between people and computers. But we need to be smarter, and we can do this. So copy-paste is not the right strategy. The correct strategy is copy, adapt, paste. Copy, take one element from somewhere else and apply it. Copy, translate and transform. It's like the whole reason of being for Eurapco, to learn from each other, to share best and next practices. And then in a smart, elegant way, and especially by reaching out, by reaching to other areas, to other sectors and integrating that. And the key trick there is not to do this on your primary processes. Because your primary processes, you pay people to do that. Look at your secondary and tertiary processes. That's where the real value is. How do you organize yourselves? How do you keep your people engaged? What partnerships should you forge? Which technology should you apply? Not insurance stuff, not banking stuff, because then you'll still be programming COBOL. No, you need to get new stuff in. Now, as last thing, we need to talk about risk. I believe one of you said, which business are you in? Risk mitigation? Something like that, huh? Good. So real partnerships, Eurapco, real partnerships, real alliance, is of course about sharing, and also about sharing risk, because it's dangerous out there. And that's where you insure people for. And if we look at innovative collaborations, what you should be doing amongst each other and in the wider system, you need trust, transparency, and also experiments. We talked about it a few times today, experiments. But an experiment, the problem with an experiment, what is the problem with an experiment? Yeah, you can fail. And then you say, yeah, we're back at the beginning. It's a risk, because you can fail. What do we do? Who of you has a good digital strategy? Ooh, this is scary, huh? I'm sorry, let me rephrase the question. I was not clear enough. Who of you has a good digital strategy? Thank God, 10%. A lot to learn from each other. Now, when everything is digital and everything is connected, there is a risk. There might be a cyber attack or something. And somehow, even though we are very smart, we then, faced with a crisis, we come back to very basic things. In case of cyber attack, break the glass, pull all the cables. If this is the best thing you can do, you're in trouble. So I totally agree with the previous speakers also. Invest in data. Invest in your knowledge and awareness, not just to ensure cyber attacks, but also for your own proprietary systems. And that's where you need to reduce your risk aversion. I saw here the Eurapco lab and everything, which is great. That means that we are deliberately testing and experimenting. And that's what you should do. And this guy is pretty sure because he has 2 wooden poles there. He's fine, don't worry, this is risk mitigated. And indeed, it's about trying to step away from mistakes. But that's a problem, because if we innovate, if we try something new, we may have a mistake. Now, the problem is not the mistake itself. The problem is the mental stigma that we paste on these mistakes. There are 3 types of mistakes: preventable, complexity-related, and intelligent mistakes. And that's somewhere between, if you experiment something, if you try something, it's between failure and success. And that's the terror of error. And I call that errorism. There is a human, corporate, whatever you name it, terror of error. We try to stay away from errors. You seem really Westerner, kind of MBA-trained people. Yeah, very good. So, you have a tendency to divide the world up in yes or no, in 0 or 1. Because if I say, where is success? Is success at the 0 side? No, it's at the 1, right? Good, so nice binary, perfect. And indeed, success is at the 1. But if you do not make the 1, it's all an error, fail, or mistake. You lose something, and then there is this stigma to it, and it's called a loser. And we don't want to be losers, right? No. What we want is to jump to success. But we cannot always jump there directly. And then things become really scary. So 1 is success, no discussion. 0 is a failure, no discussion. But the middle ground, that's when things become really interesting. If you try and experiment something and you go to 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, that's when things get really interesting. But the problem is we don't have new words for that. We use old words which have stigma to them, so losing, failing, and we don't want to be there. So I'm helping you, I'm introducing a new word. It's great to talk about that over drinks in a moment. The nearling. It comes from nearly, near to your heart maybe. You tried to implement this new system, whatever it is, and it just didn't work. So what is a nearling? A nearling is a positive word for something you did with the right intentions, which has not yet, or not at all, led to the right results. So you need new words. Nearling. And if we Amazonize it, because Amazon does this structured, then they say, okay, we flop it around, a nearling becomes a learning, and then we just chop off the L at Amazon, they say, and we have an earning. So we need a lot of learnings to earn stuff. It's really simple, easy to remember, right? And this is the business plan. Here we go, ID, if it works, bingo. If not, we go back to the drawing board. That's how we do it. That's how we innovate. Digital insurances. So nearlinks. Do something nice with them. In Dutch, it's called Rakeling. In German sagen wir Fassling oder Naling. Dat is sehr nah. If you have a Finnish or Danish way of this, a new word, please let me know. I will integrate it here. So, as you see, we're nearly ready for the bar because bad decisions make great stories. So ask someone tonight about their nearlinks. Hey, try to invest in this system or whatever. And finally, you need to find the X factor. You need to go from just combining things to the X factor. Where is this X factor? It's really simple. You need to figure out what really resonates. Who of you thinks they have a complex system, complex working environment that they're in? See them. All right, Colruyt, a Belgian retailer, solved this by having a whole team, and I think I love Idea DJ's term, but they have the best term, and that's a work simplifier. They have absolutely a team of work simplifiers. What is the beauty of this? That if the work simplifiers come in, people at the different departments absolutely love these people coming in, because their own task is to make work simpler for these employees, and people there embrace change. So maybe also your agile teams or your scrum teams or what have you, maybe rebrand them to work simplifiers, because then people will accept the changes easier, because then they know what they're there for. One concrete example, as was a digital marketer that this communication agency was looking for. Apply now is one button, but that's not the problem, applying for a new job. Leaving the old one, that's the problem. So what they did is they drafted a fantastic resignation letter, very respectful to their old employer, and I see you thinking, hey, we can do the same thing with insurances, saying bye-bye for all the years of good thing, and then come to... So you see, be smarter at it. All right, I'd like to wrap up. Data is crucial. Start to love data. You'll need it, and we can only connect the dots that we connect. I spoke about remix. To summarize, wicked problems need combined solutions. You cannot do it with a single point solutions. Ideas don't have to be new to the world, just new to you. Cross-industry innovation is a smart way of interacting. Don't copy-paste, copy-adapt-paste. Reduce your risk aversion, share your nearlinks, and find the X factor. And with this, strive for the perfect mix. Thank you for your time.